Hello, Keystone students and families, and welcome to a little interview. My name is Haley Wagner, and I'm one of Keystone's instructional supervisors. With me is Mr. James Bonham. He's another one of Keystone's instructional supervisors. We both oversee your teachers, so just different teams. But today we're not talking about our courses, we're talking about fishing. So I am a very kind of newbie fisher. Mr. Bonham is a much more experienced fisher. I don't have a whole lot of success, so I'm going to ask him a few questions, and hopefully, you guys can get some insight into fishing if you're interested in doing that. Please let us know in the comments if you've been fishing, if you find any of Mr. Bonham's tips worth using. So, once again, hi, Mr. Bonham. How are you doing today?
I am great. Thank you for picking me to talk about this topic. It's one that I love deeply, I guess. It's certainly a fresh of breath air to
Literally.
um, literally when you're able to get out and go fishing.
So I guess riffing off of that, why do you love it so much? Like what is it about the whole
It
experience?
is, it's such a relaxing experience. Even with my kids, whether you're fishing from the bank, you could sit there and just cast the line out and sit there and wait. And you sit and you talk with your kids and have snacks and drinks and stuff with them. Or if you're out in the boat, it's really peaceful just to sit out there and float around. Um, it's just one of those things that can be very peaceful and a great time with family.
That's awesome. So even if you don't catch anything, how
Mhm.
often do you think you go out fishing and you come back empty-handed?
Pretty rarely. Pretty rarely. We did just have a past experience this past Saturday was youth trout season, the first day of trout season here in PA for youth. Only mentored youth. We came up empty, but we'll try again this Saturday with the actual opener of trout season. We did get out late, and there was a huge temperature change um, during the weekend. It got real cold and real windy on Saturday, so that is something that does impact the fish.
Do they like
And
sink whenever it gets colder? Like do they typically go like deeper in the water and they're like more
yeah,
dormant?
yeah, they'll typically go deeper. And it sounds weird because typically deeper water is colder, but if the air temperature is as cold as it is or it's ice, deeper is warmer in a sense. But yeah, barometric pressure is another one that impacts fish and where they will be. They have a swim bladder that they adjust, and it helps them be buoyant and be at different levels in the water. And also time of year um, impacts them as well, whether they're spawning or not, whether they're out in deeper water, or if they're spawning, they're going to be up toward the shores and shallower. So there's a lot to fishing, a lot of neat things to learn, and that's I'll kind of jump ahead of you and advice for fishing is get out there, find a place that you enjoy to be, and learn that area um, to fish it and you'll become more successful in fishing it then. Once you learn a particular pond or lake or river or stream and how to fish it, you'll be more successful in doing that. And it's a learning process. Um,
Is there a lot of difference with like you said like a lake versus a river or a stream? You have like more still water versus a moving current.
mhm, mhm.
Is do you have more success in one or the other? Do you like one or the other more?
So I personally grew up fishing both, but I'll say I prefer um, lakes and ponds. Uh, River fishing, if I do that, it's more for like catfish. Um, Streams, creeks would be for trout. Um, and trout's kind of I would say it's easier for the most part to say fish a lake or a pond. You think of shooting fish in a barrel, the saying, right? You got them contained where in a stream or a river, you could hit a long stretch where you're not hitting anything, and then finding the right hole in a creek or in a river, right, the right spot is a little bit more difficult. Where in a lake or a pond, it's a little bit easier to say track down the fish in a way and find where they're biting, especially if you're in a boat. But just being able to walk around a pond easier than say along a river or a stream as well.
Yeah, 'cause they're more contained. That makes sense.
Yep.
It is, I would probably say where I am, it's definitely harder to find lakes to fish in. Because a lot of the lakes around me are on like private property or like in posted lands. And like Pennsylvania, a lot of our hunting lands are posted. So
Mhm.
they don't really like you wandering into just random people's backyards. Occasionally you can ask somebody if they have
Mhm.
a nice place, or there are even websites I've come across that people will like rent out either like little camping sites along their
Mhm.
own like private lakes to go fishing, which is
Yep.
really, really cool. So what's your I guess I'm gonna ask about trout. Catfish scare me. I think they're too big. Trout are more of a manageable size. What
Mhm.
would you say would your bait be for a trout?
So for trout, um, typically, I guess it depends on what you're going for. So, and I say that because here in Pennsylvania, they stock trout in the streams. So you have like rainbow trout, brown trout, and what we call palominos. They're like the yellow goldfish looking trout. Um, so if you're fishing for stocked trout, you could throw just about anything out there and they're going to hit it. Because they're raised in hatcheries, they're kind of used to just seeing motion at the top and eating food off the top. So anything like a something that would mimic, say, like a salmon egg, something little and red. Trout typically like smaller baits. Um, you could use live minnows. As a kid, we used to throw dandelions in there, and they would come up and hit them uh, for
The
stock
more you
trout.
talk, the fact that I went fishing all last year, probably 10 times, and didn't catch anything always. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I feel like it's a patience issue. Uh,
Sometimes, and sometimes it's just a matter of picking the right time of day, and even what it's like. I typically like an overcast day,
little
with
rainy.
um, sometimes, yeah, yeah. If it's a little rainy, it's okay. Um, but an overcast day, but not a windy day. If it gets real choppy, that tends to cut off the bite. Um, it depends on what you're fishing for too. So with trout, again, an overcast day, something small. Now, if you're fishing for like a native trout, you'd want to pick something more like a natural fly,
Okay.
like with a fly rod. They even have spinner flies that you can cast and reel. So it's most kids like that more where they're able to cast, reel in, cast, reel in. So they have spinner flies that it's like a fly that you cast for fly rod fishing, but will have a little spinner on it too.
And a fly
Um,
rod doesn't have the reel typically. That's where you're kind of in like
right.
your galoshes in the middle of a
Yep.
lower stream, and you're whatever casting over and over and over again.
Yep.
That one
Yep.
looks much more complicated. I'm definitely more of the stand on the side of the creek or in the boat and cast.
Yep.
Do your kids bait their own hooks, or do you teach them
Yeah.
when as soon as they can
Yep.
kind of go out?
Yep. I taught them all very young. Now the 5-year-old doesn't quite yet. I don't trust him 100% with the hook yet. But my older ones definitely. I started them all young in fishing, and they're able to bait their own hooks, tie their own lures on, and things like that now. Um, but you kind of continuing with that with kids, or a beginner fisher, someone who's starting fishing. I would say to target, if you can find lakes or ponds to fish, and it doesn't hurt to ask someone, if it's a private pond or lake. You'd be surprised. A lot of people sometimes are open to letting people fish. Sometimes it doesn't hurt if you have kids with you because that kind of uh,
Look how cute my child
lessens
is.
the,
Let me
yeah.
onto your property.
Yep. Um, no, I'm lucky enough to have access to private fishing here on my own land, but also state park right up on top of the mountain from me to fish. That's actually this picture here is Lake Jean in Ricketts Glen State Park in Pennsylvania. Um, so, having access to places to fish is certainly key. But if you're able to fish a pond or a lake, and I'd say target panfish first. They're typically easiest, like bluegills, pumpkin seeds, um,
The
even
bluegills,
crappie.
the bluegills are the ones with the sharp. fins, aren't
They
they?
do have the little spines in the back, but yeah, you just practice holding them and just use your thumb and lay them right down and hold them. Um,
And I will say this
you
is
can whip them
one of
if they're
those
big
times
enough.
where having larger hands definitely helps because I've many a
Yeah.
time have to chase a fish with trying to both hands to like tuck in the fins, and I've definitely cut myself a few times. But no, I think that sounds wonderful, and I thank you so much. Is there any fishing wisdom you want to leave us with as we're wrapping up here, Mr. Bonham?
Um, I'd say start simple with things like you know, with little things like this. This is a jig, so it's a weighted head.
You get a little eyeball.
Um, and this is a soft plastic, they'd call it. It's just a to represent a shad. And this is a lure that you can catch a lot of different fish on. You can catch crappie, you can catch larger bluegills on it, you can catch bass on it. Pickerel will even go after it as well. So it's something that here's kind of a larger version. This one's more for
That one's
um,
picking up your green screen.
this one's for more for walleye.
Mm.
This one. But jigs with just a soft plastic on it are so universal. So many different fish will hit them. So I'd say, start with something simple like that, and you don't have to spend a lot of money, either to fish. There's a lot of fancy stuff out there, but you can go to a discount store, find a decent rod for cheap and some lures and hooks and um, if need be, you go to the old school and you dig up some worms in the ground and you use red worms. That was always my go-to as a kid. Or
Find your own bait.
night,
What's under this rock?
yep, yep, yep. A night walker is just after a summer rain. You out at night just after a summer rain, and night crawlers come up out of the ground, and you snatch them up and put them in a can and go fishing.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Bonham. I appreciate your time. And if you have any questions, Keystone families and students, please let us know in the comments and we'd be happy to address them. Maybe we can make a follow-up video more into the season if Mr. Bonham gets some pictures of fish he catches. Maybe if I catch a fish, you're definitely going to see it because I'm going to post it everywhere. But thank you so much and let us know in the comments if you have questions.